Hey everyone, my name is Elise Tadarud and I'm an admission counselor at University of the Sciences. In this session, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of our fixed tuition fee schedule. We'll be talking about financial aid opportunities as well as your next steps as an accepted student. Let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about the differences between direct and indirect costs. We'll talk about university awards and need-based aid, the value of a USciences education, and finally, your next steps to complete your enrollment to becoming a matriculated USciences student. Okay, so let's talk about the differences between direct and indirect costs. Direct costs are costs payable directly to the institution that you are going to be attending. These include tuition, fees, and room and board. I'm going to talk about indirect costs in just a moment. Let's talk about the first part of that, the tuition fees. At USciences, you may already know this, but for students starting in fall 2021, and actually for the past 4 years, we've offered a fixed tuition pricing schedule. So what that means is you know the cost of your degree from day one. There are no annual tuition fee increases. For those starting in 2021, you'll see the fixed tuition fee pricing schedule on the screen. For all of the undergraduate pre-professional years, the tuition fee is $27,500. And for those of you in a direct entry professional program, you'll see the lowered and fixed tuition fee cost for your professional years on the screen as well. So again, we are offering the peace of mind of having a fixed and transparent pricing schedule. You're going to know the full cost of your degree from day one. Most schools out there increase their costs anywhere from 3 to 7% per year. That amounts to thousands of dollars in savings over the course of your 4 or 6 year degree here at USciences without those annual tuition fee increases. What this has done is made us one of the most affordable institutions in the region for the type of programs that we're offering and the quality of our education. The other part of those direct costs are the room and board costs. Your room costs are your housing costs if you're planning to live on campus, and your board costs are your meal plan costs. Campus housing is guaranteed for 2 years, and about 84% of our first-year students reside on campus. In the picture, you'll see one of our rooms in the Living and Learning Commons. This is our brand new residence hall, so we're very excited to be able to offer that to incoming first-year students. You'll see the price of our 2021-2022 room and board costs on the screen. The other part of the equation that you want to plan for as you think about the total cost of your education are your indirect costs. These would include books and supplies. So for example, if you need textbooks for your classes, or if you need pens and pencils, maybe you might need a new laptop. Those are all considered books and supplies. Again, not payable directly to the university, but you want to consider that as you think of the entire cost. You also want to think about transportation costs. If you're a student who's commuting to campus, you want to think about how you're going to get there. Are you going to go by car? Are you going to go by public transportation? You want to think about those costs and the total cost for your education. Maybe you're not commuting to campus, but you want to go home for a holiday. Maybe you want to go home for a Thanksgiving break. You want to make sure that you can get there. So you may be taking a train, or you may be taking a bus. So those are all costs that we encourage you to consider. And finally, personal expenses are the last aspect of indirect costs. So personal expenses can include toiletries if you're living on campus, or maybe on a Friday night you want to get together with some friends and go out to a movie. Those are examples of personal expenses. When you receive your financial aid letter, you'll receive estimates for indirect costs. Again, this is going to vary by student, so make sure that you're just thinking about this as you plan for the total cost of your education. Okay, so we invest in your education. Here at USciences, we invest in your education in a couple different ways. So the first way we do that is through our lowered and fixed tuition fee schedule. I'm actually going to do a very cool demonstration of the power of the fixed tuition in just a couple minutes. Next, we invest in your education by offering university awards, which I'll talk about as well. And finally, need-based aid through your FAFSA. Okay, so what I would like to do now is to show our tuition fee comparator calculator tool. And what we've done is we've created a tool that will help us to compare institutions that other students are considering to the cost of the degree at USciences. So we can compare the cost of that institution that does not have, that has annual tuition and fee increases to USciences that does not have annual tuition and fee increases. If you would like to go through some examples of schools that you've been accepted to and help us compare your offers, we're happy to do that. Make sure you reach out to your admission counselor. So I'm going to switch over to my calculator tool. Okay, so I'm going to show two different examples here as part of our comparison between institutions. So on the left side of the screen, you'll see an example of a student who is accepted in a bachelor's degree program at USciences. So you'll see the fixed tuition fee pricing, the $27,500 in our fixed tuition fee column. We also take into account the merit scholarship award that the student was offered. So the student was offered a $9,000 scholarship. Congratulations, that's a great award. Bringing the net price for this University of the Sciences, for this student to $74,000 over the course of that 4 years for tuition fee. On the right side of our screen, we see one of our competitor institutions. So this is an actual real institution with real tuition figures and real fees. So you may recognize those costs. So at this institution, they break the tuition fees out separately. So you want to be careful when you're looking at the total cost. You want to make sure you take into account not only the tuition costs, but also the fee costs. This institution offered the student a $23,000 scholarship. That seems like a great award, and that's a very large award. So when we take into account the total tuition fee costs and subtract the scholarship, this institution comes out to $79,864. Now, just because the institution offered a larger scholarship compared to the USciences scholarship does not mean that the student is going to be paying less. So you want to pay attention to that when you're comparing your awards. The difference now is that USciences is $5,864 less than this comparable institution. Now, that does not take into account annual tuition and fee increases. So when we implement a modest 2.5% increase on this competitor institution, and again, our tuition is not going to go up, so this will remain the same, and your scholarship power will remain the same over the 4 years. This institution's cost went up 2.5% per year, and that was compounded each year. So the total cost of the tuition and fee minus the scholarship is $86,417. Now that brings the difference to $12,417. So USciences is less by almost $12,500. Now, just because of those annual 2.5% increases, which is a conservative number for tuition increases, that institution's cost went up by almost $7,000. So that is an additional $7,000 that you did not consider, that you did not plan for when you were thinking about the total cost of your education. Let's look at one more example together. So again, on the left-hand side, you'll see an example of one of our professional programs. We're using the pharmacy program as an example. You'll see our tuition fee costs here. This student was offered a $10,000 scholarship award. Again, that's a great scholarship. Congratulations. The USciences scholarship is good for the pre-professional years of the program. Now, again, we have used an actual comparable institution that also has a direct entry pharmacy program. So you may recognize some of these tuition fee figures. This institution offered the student a $25,000 scholarship for 4 years. So again, that looks like a very large award. When you're comparing the total cost, though, when you consider the total cost of the tuition fee minus the scholarship, this institution is almost $13,000 more, and that does not include any type of tuition increases per year. So let's see what happens when we implement, again, a modest 2.5% increase per year for each of the 6 years, compounded over 6 years at this institution. Wow. So this institution, the difference is a lot more than it was before. So the difference between these two institutions is $32,493. So USciences is less by $32,493. Simply because of those 2.5% conservative tuition increases per year, compounded on 6 years, this institution is now almost $20,000 more than the initial sticker price. So again, when you are looking at the awards that you were offered, you want to make sure that you're looking at the bottom line. Just because another institution offered a larger scholarship, it does not mean that the tuition is going to be less or the costs are going to be less. So you want to make sure you consider that bottom line when you're looking at your institutions that you've been accepted to. Okay. And I always love showing that calculator. If you would like to compare, again, as I mentioned before, if you would like to compare some of the offers that you received from other schools, please let us know. We're happy to work with you one-on-one to be able to do that. So just to recap our examples here, for our bachelor's degree program, we had our fixed tuition and fee price. And again, that does not increase over the cost of your over the length of your 4 years. Without any annual tuition and fee increases, our comparator institution was just under $80,000. With a very conservative 2.5% annual increase over 4 years, this institution's cost went up $6,553 and is now $86,417. And again, to recap our professional program example, you'll see the total USciences cost on the left. Without annual tuition fee increases, we'll see our competitor cost on the right. With annual tuition fee increases, our competitor is now almost $20,000 more than they had initially planned for with their stated tuition fee costs. So to kind of wrap things up here with our calculator, we want to make sure that you remember that a lot of schools inflate the cost of their tuition to give what seems like a very large scholarship award. So you want to make sure that you're looking at the true cost of your education, the bottom line, when you're comparing institutions. The next way that we invest in your education is by offering university awards. These would be in the form of a merit scholarship. If you're offered a merit scholarship, it would be included in your acceptance package and on your financial aid letter. If you are an athlete who is offered an athletic award, you would have that information in your financial aid letter. If you are a legacy, so if you're a sibling graduated from USciences, or a parent or grandparent graduated from USciences, you would be offered our legacy award. And finally, the honors award for students in our honors program. The last way that we invest in your education is by offering need-based aid. And this would be in the form of aid based on your FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. If you have not submitted your FAFSA, we encourage you to do so sooner than later. And you can use our school code 003353 to do so. Once you've completed your FAFSA, you'll receive your financial aid letter mailed to you to your home address. So some of the aspects that you may qualify for through your FAFSA would be the housing grant from USciences, and this would be applied toward your room and board costs. You may be eligible for a federal Pell Grant. You may also be eligible for state grants. The PA state grant maximum is on the screen. Other state grants may depend on the state that you are coming from. You can check with your admission counselor or the financial aid team to determine if the state of Pennsylvania accepts your state's grant. You may also qualify for work study, which is the opportunity for you to obtain a part-time job on campus and make up to $2,100 to apply toward your tuition and fee costs or your indirect or your direct cost. That would be offered to you in the form of a paycheck. Another aspect of the financial aid that you may qualify for are federal student loans. These come in the form of subsidized and unsubsidized loans. A subsidized federal loan is a loan in which the federal government covers the interest during the time that you were enrolled as a student on campus. On the screen, you'll see the maximum amounts for the subsidized, as well as the total unsubsidized and subsidized loans. So if you are considering taking out federal student loans, you would need to follow a couple of other steps. Our financial aid team will also reach out to you when it's time to do so to make sure that you're meeting all these requirements. A good timeline would be to start these processes in late spring or early summer. You can visit studentaid.gov and you'll want to complete the 3 aspects here: master promissory note, entrance loan counseling, and annual student loan acknowledgement. Again, our financial aid team will reach out to you to make sure that you are completing these steps. If you are considering alternative loans, there are a couple different sources here for you to consider. If you are thinking about maybe a Parent Plus loan, you can apply for that through the studentaid.gov website, the same place where you do your FAFSA. And then we also encourage students to, if you are considering taking alternative loans or private loans, we encourage you to take a look at elmselect.com, which is a resource where loans that have been taken out by USciences students in the past are compared. So you can compare rates and different repayment options through that website, elmselect.com. It's a really great resource for you to use if you're considering taking private or alternative loans. The last thing I'd like to talk about here is our payment plan. So you can use our tuition payment plan with a combination of any of the types of awards, including scholarships and grants that you were offered, loans, as well as need-based aid. The payment plan is broken up over 2 different semesters. So you would pay 5 months of a payment plan for the fall and 5 months for the spring. There's a one-time enrollment fee per semester, a small enrollment fee, but it is interest-free, which is a wonderful benefit. And finally, to wrap up our financial aid section, we encourage you to take a look at our outside resources that we have on the screen, which would include some excellent tips and tricks and helpful sources for you to help planning for the investment in your education, and also some free scholarship search sites as well. Okay, so let's jump into the value of our USciences education and why this is such a great investment in your future. And then we'll end with the next steps for our accepted students to become actually a matriculated student on campus. First and foremost, we offer a proven value. There are no annual tuition and fee increases, so you have the peace of mind of knowing the cost of your degree from day one, whether you're in a 4-year or a 6-year program. We have a robust history and legacy. 2021 is our bicentennial year. We are so excited to be able to celebrate our bicentennial this year. You're going to be joining a wide legacy, a wide breadth and depth of legacies from our university in terms of our alumni and the contributions that we've made in the science and healthcare fields. We are so proud of our graduates over the past 200 years, and we can't wait to see where our institution goes for the next 200 years. We hope that you'll join us and be part of this celebration. We're in a proven location. We're in an excellent place for you to pursue all of those extracurricular and experiential opportunities that you need to be able to go on to your first job, be able to go on to graduate school or to medical school. You can actually walk to 3 hospitals from our institution. Our students are proven in the classroom. We have a small student to faculty ratio, which means that our class sizes are small, and students are going to get to know their faculty members extremely well. We have a very close-knit community here. And speaking of our faculty, all of our courses are taught by faculty members and not graduate assistants. And our faculty truly are experts in their fields. For example, if you're taking a microbiology class, you're going to be taught by a microbiologist. We also like to encourage students to take advantage of our integrated graduate credit programs. Students can take up to 15 credits toward their master's or a PhD degree at USciences as part of their undergraduate tuition fee costs. It's a great way to get a head start on your advanced degree. Our students are proven in the lab. We have over 100 laboratories on campus, so you can get involved with research as early as your first year, second semester. We prepare students for some of the best healthcare jobs in the US. We offer the education to become an occupational therapist, pharmacist, physical therapist, and physician assistant, and also the preparation to become a dentist, physician, and veterinarian, all of which are in the top healthcare jobs in the US, according to US News and World Report in 2020. Physician assistant was actually ranked #1 in 2021. So again, really preparing students for top jobs, in demand careers in both healthcare and the sciences and also the research fields. Our students and graduates are ranked #1 for social mobility compared to 42 other Philadelphia area institutions. And they're also ranked #1 in PA and #2 out of nearly 600 selective private schools for upward economic mobility. So what those two statistics mean is that our students in general are more successful financially and socially than the generations before them. And finally, our graduates are ranked #1 in PA, New Jersey, and Delaware, and top 10 in the nation, top 10 in the nation for return on investment 40 years after enrollment among private 4-year institutions. So what this means is that the investment that you're making in your education at USciences truly pays off over the course of your career and your professional journey. And we hope that you become proven everywhere and join the ranks of our students and really become proven everywhere you go as well. Okay, so what's next? Let's talk about what's next for accepted students. If you have not done so already, please make sure that you submit your FAFSA at fafsa.gov. As soon as we receive your FAFSA, which takes about 10 business days to process, we'll send your financial aid award letter. So please make sure that you do that as soon as possible. If you haven't already done so, you can join our accepted student Facebook group. You'll see the link on the screen. This is a great way for you to meet your future classmates, as well as to meet a potential roommate if you're thinking of living on campus. We encourage you to attend some of our other accepted student events, and you see the link on the screen. This would include webinars and different fun events that we're going to be hosting throughout the spring, and also our accepted student days. Also, you should submit your enrollment and housing deposit as soon as you know that USciences is the school for you. You can do so at usciences.edu/enroll using the code that you received in your acceptance letter. And finally, you should celebrate. This is a very exciting time in your life. We recognize that you have been through a lot over the past year. So you should take a minute to congratulate yourself and celebrate where you are and the fact that you were accepted to University of the Sciences and you are on the next step of your journey is going to be happening very soon. So you take some time to celebrate, take some time to congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back, and acknowledge all that you have accomplished up until this point. So as I mentioned before, if you have any questions, please make sure that you are reaching out to your admission counselor. You'll see all of the counselors on the screen here. You can text us or call us on our number. We have been connecting with you pretty frequently throughout your admission process, so please make sure that you are connecting with us. If you would like us to walk through a comparator calculator with you for a school that you're considering, please let us know. We are happy to do that. If you have any questions, please let us know, and best of luck making your decision. We hope to see you as a USciences student in the fall.